What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Real quick, if you guys have not already, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Only about 60% of my current viewers are subscribed, and it helps the channel out quite a bit. So in today's video, we're talking about strategic bombers. Not strike aircraft, but actual strategic bombers like the B-1, the B-2, the B-52, and eventually the B-21. So we're, for the most part, focusing on U.S. Strategic bombers. So in-game right now, we have a couple of what you would call maybe, air quote strategic bombers. The F-105, the F-111, maybe the B-57. But for the most part, we're missing a big core of U.S. bombers, and there's a reason for that. So, in the game right now, the closest thing we have to strategic aircraft, strategic bombers, is the F-111 Aardvark. The Aardvark has a lot of more characteristics of a strike aircraft or a fighter bomber than an actual strategic bomber. And the B-57 itself is more of a, I would say a strike aircraft alone. What really separates them is the B-57 having the ability to, has onboard weapons. It has a, the versions have 50 calibers. Some versions don't, but for the most part, the ones in games, all except I think one, have 50 caliber machine guns. The F-111, of course, has a good bomb payload. It carries, obviously, the Vulcan, the M61, and it carries AIM-9s. A plane like the B-1 or B-2 or B-52, for the most part, don't carry any sort of weapons. The B-52 early versions could carry, I believe it was the rear tail turrets. I believe they're 220 mils, maybe it was 420 mils that were radar guided 20 millimeter turrets. And besides that, that's it for defense. Obviously, strategic bombers have other ways or means to defend themselves. B-52s, for the most part, stick at long ranges or operate in environments where there's absolutely no threat of enemy aircraft. B-1s can rely on a breathtaking top speed to keep their aircraft safe. The B-2 and B-21 obviously have stealth abilities. They're the stealthiest aircraft in the game, or in the world. Some of the stealthiest aircraft in the world. And then with the next major update, we are getting the F-117, which is, in my opinion, will be the true first strategic bomber and our first look on what strategic bombers can look like. So strategic bombers, for me, right now, if they were to come to the game right now, would be the worst thing possible. The F-117 right now is fine because it's such a small bomb payload, but the game as right now cannot handle the B-52, the B-1, or the B-2. But we do need to see these aircraft. What I'm talking about is the current setting for, strategic bombers like the B-2, the B-1, and the B-52, all those aircraft, is, the most played mode for them would be probably AirRB, followed by then probably Air Sim. AirRB, right now, you have 4 bases. In the F-117 alone and F-105, I'm struggling to get a base. Right now, there are fighters that can fill the roles as the bombers. There is no need in-game right now for strategic bombers. There isn't a reason for me to bring a, B-1 if they were to come to the game over an F-16. I mean, I can do everything in the F-16 that the B-1 can do and better. Right now, there's too many fighters and strike aircraft that are doing roles that should be bombers only, and in AirRB, there's just no, good play for bombers. You are oftentimes slow, so fighters will get bases first. You can't defend yourself, so there's no point in loitering around waiting. In-game right now, I mean, even the F-105, which can defend itself because it has Vulcan and it has AIM-9s, is still not a great aircraft to play. Not a lot of fun. Overall, I think if we saw a massive rework of AirRB in terms of strike abilities, if we had missions fitted for strike aircraft like the A-10 and the F-15E, and then we had actual bases that required a super high bomb payload. Right now in top tier, it is a 4,500 pounds of ordnance. Change that to maybe 10,000 pounds of ordnance, and add something like the B-52. I'm just saying, guys, it's how it is right now. It's not very fun. Okay, if you're to play a bomber, there's 4 bases. They might respawn, if depending on how long the game goes. Oftentimes they don't because the games are not long enough. So that would really incline. Say you had 4 people playing bombers, but you had fighters carrying bombs. It just doesn't work. It wouldn't be able to work. Also, B-52s are very slow aircraft, sluggish with a high payload. What BR would they sit at? The F-117 right now coming to the game is at 8.7 in ARB. Yes, it has no sort of offensive weapons, but Gaijin's putting a stealth aircraft at 8.7. That just doesn't, what BR is the B-52 gonna be? B-52 gonna be at? What BR is the B-2 gonna be at? The B-2 has no offensive weapons. But you better believe we should not see a B-2 Spirit at 8.7. Or what if when we see 6th gen, the B-21? Also, very unlikely that it'll have offensive weapons. I mean, I know it's been rumored to have it IRL, but very, very classified aircraft. I mean, overall, each aircraft can find its way in the game. The B-1 would be usable because it is a very, very high-speed aircraft. I could see it sitting at 11.7 or 12.0, getting good amount of countermeasures, getting electronic countermeasures would be something we would have to get for sure. And that would be a usable aircraft. The B-52, spawn it at crazy high altitudes with a radar, gun on the tail. Get anything within 2 miles behind it dies. I'll play that. That sounds fine to me. Fighters have to climb. If they climb, you nose up, shoot them with your, guaranteed kill rear gunner. That's okay by me. The B-2, put it at a really high BR in air and ground. I'd use it in ground RB mostly with guided bombs. Every strategic bomber has a place in War Thunder. It's just the game has to be modeled back into a spot that makes sense for strategic bombers. And obviously then balancing. Russia, for the most part, has a lot of heavy strategic bombers. Tupolovs, Tu-95s, Tu-22s. These are heavier. I would say, are cross between a B-1 and a B-52. Built for high speed, but also crazy bomb payload. I'm not going to go crazy into depth about Russian bombers, as I don't know a lot about Russian bombers. But for the most part, American strategic aircraft is what this video is talking about. And we have strategic aircraft in the game. The F-117 is the true first strategic bomber, and I'm sure we're going to see more. The F-117, interdicts strategic bombers. I know it was a part of Central Air Command, Central Air Command for a while. I do know it is, an aircraft that is a strategic bomber, by quote, but in-game, obviously, you can carry AIM-9Ls with the F model. So it is definitely something that I would like to see. I'm thinking next year, the first major update of next year, probably, the first big one, so summer update. I mean, I'm okay with getting strategic bombers then. Honestly, that's my take on this, guys. I think we'll see strategic bombers in a year. I think the B-52, B-1, and B-2 all have a place in War Thunder. And we also have a lot of Cold War bombers. B-36 isn't in the game. Hustler's not in the game. I mean, there's a lot of really unique bombers from the Cold War era that are just not in the game that I'd love to see. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways that this can find its way to the game. Either new game mode, rework of Air RB, or hell, even both. But do let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below. Do you guys think it's unreasonable to want to see a B-52 or a B-1? I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Discord will be linked down in the description of the video. And I hope to catch you guys in a later video.